LEGO Batman The Videogame is my favorite LEGO game of all time. When I was younger, I used to play it all the time. Even though I love this game, it still has some problems. So in this video, I'm going over the 5 worst and best things about LEGO Batman The Videogame, and this is my opinion. My number 5 worst is the secondary character AI. When you're not playing co-op, the secondary character is controlled by AI, which sometimes the AI isn't the smartest and doesn't do what you want it to do, or need it to do, which could be annoying sometimes. Like, sometimes when you need the second character to do something and it won't, or sometimes it's just in the way. I think the secondary character AI is done better in the later LEGO games, but that is usually the case for most things. So, it isn't always a problem, but when it is, it could be really annoying. Number 5 best is the music. It uses the Batman theme made by Danny Elfman from Batman 1989, which is my favorite Batman theme from my favorite Batman movie. It may be too repetitive and can be heard maybe too much, so you could get tired of it eventually, but I still love it. There are also some other similarities to Batman 1989, like the finale battle in the church with Joker, which I think is really cool. Number 4 worst is the open world, and the fact that there is no open world. In the earlier LEGO games, there wasn't much open world, but in LEGO Batman 2 they improve on this and has a great open world. When there is an open world, there is a lot more to do, like side missions and a lot of stuff to collect, like gold bricks and characters. I don't have too much of a problem with this, and the hubs are really cool, which brings me to my number 4 best, which is the hubs, which are the Batcave for the heroes and Arkham Asylum for the villains. The Batcave looks cool and has a lot of different areas. I like the level select area with the Batmobile, Batboat, and the Batwing. Arkham Asylum is also cool, and you can switch between them. In the Batcave, you can see the characters like Alfred walk around, and in Arkham Asylum, there are a lot of criminals walking around. Sometimes the Batcave and Arkham Asylum can feel a little empty, and maybe there isn't much to do in them, but they are still cool hubs. My number 3 worst is the character customization. I think this is the same for most of the early games. In the early LEGO games, there just wasn't much you could do with the character customization. They really improve on this in later games, where you can really create a completely new and different character. I think LEGO DC's supervillains really did a good job with this, and I think every LEGO game kind of improved on the character customization. So at the time it was alright, but now since it is so much better, this just doesn't compare. Number 3 best is the different suits that Batman and Robin have. In the hero missions, you only play as Batman and Robin, so to make things more interesting, they both have different suits that do different things, which is really good. This didn't change for LEGO Batman 2 and 3, but this started it. The different suits made the gameplay less repetitive and made it more fun. My favorite suit when I was younger was Batman's heat suit. I thought it was really cool, and I liked that it was red, but sadly, it's only in this game. So even though the 2 LEGO Batman games after this one had the suits, they were different suits and some new designs for old suits. Number 2 worst is that there isn't really much to do after the story. This kind of goes with my point of there being no open world, because if there was an open world, there would probably be more stuff to do. After you finish the story, you can free play the story to collect the mini kits and red bricks, which that doesn't change in later LEGO games. Other than that, you can buy like extras and characters and stuff like that, but that's really it. In LEGO games after this, there are side missions and stuff that you can do, which are usually in the open world, so it gives you more stuff to do after the story. Number 2 best is the story. It's simple. There are 3 campaigns: the Riddler campaign, the Penguin campaign, and the Joker campaign. And for each campaign, there are a bunch of Batman villains you fight, which usually there is one every level. And I like that. I like that it's just Batman and Robin fighting Batman villains, which is something that changes in the next LEGO Batman games. I like that every level you fight a different Batman villain. I just think it's really cool. It even has lesser known villains like Killer Moth, and I actually like Killer Moth. Number 1 worst is the vehicle levels. There is usually one vehicle level for every campaign. In the Riddler campaign, there is the Batmobile vehicle level. In the Penguin campaign, it's the Batboat vehicle level. And in the Joker campaign, it's the Batwing vehicle level. Sometimes it can get confusing in the vehicle levels, and it could be hard to figure out where to go or what to do. I remember when I was younger and I got stuck on the Batwing level against Scarecrow, and I didn't know what to do next. I even tried to get a friend to help me, but he couldn't figure it out either. I think the Batmobile vehicle level is the best, and is the only one that I think is okay. Number 1 best is the villain levels. The villain levels were levels that you could play after the main story, where you could play as the villains, and these levels take place before Batman takes them down, and you can see what the villains were doing. This is cool because in the main story you could only play as Batman and Robin, and even though they had different suits to keep things more interesting and fun, they were just still the same characters. But now, in these villain levels, you can play as all the villains, and they all have different abilities, and it's just fun to play as all of them. Okay, so that was my 5 best and worst things about LEGO Batman the video game. It was an early LEGO game and had some problems that weren't perfected yet, but it's still one of my favorite LEGO games, and it will always be because this is one of the reasons I love Batman so much. So if you enjoyed this video, you could like and subscribe and check out my other videos. See you next time. Goodbye.